Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, and today is going to be a good day because we get to talk about John Wick next on Drew Reviews. So I'm going to be completely transparent with you guys. John Wick is my favorite action film from the 2010s. This movie, I'll tell you straight up, is a 10 out of 10. Of course, you've got Keanu Reeves, and this role to me is his signature role. It was just made for him. You might talk about The Matrix and him as Neo, but to me, when I see Keanu Reeves, I think John Wick. Now, there are parallels between those two franchises, just like to me, there's one Matrix movie and the rest are what they are. I love that first movie, and the rest, they're kind of a mixed bag to me. I think they run over long. Like that fourth John Wick movie's 2 hours and 45 minutes. It doesn't really have to be. It's great that you get that much action, but to me, this is just one well constructed action movie, and I absolutely love it. In the sequels, you get more into the folklore, the mythology of the Continental Hotel. They've actually got a series now, but to me, it was more fun when you didn't know. You've got this guy, and he's paying these cleaners with coins, and there's these rules that you can't fight on the Continental grounds. So I liked when you didn't know. It's kind of like when the Star Wars prequels, explained everything, and then it was just like, it is what it is. But this movie, man, without getting into the sequels, it's just amazing to me. I'll go ahead and tell you, it's a 10 out of 10 for me. Right there with Terminator, Terminator 2, Die Hard, and Aliens. This is my fifth 10 out of 10. And of course, everybody knows the plot of John Wick. You've basically got this guy. He was an ex-assassin. He's retired. He's buried his guns literally in the ground. Of course, his wife passes away. And of course, he's dealing with all this grief. He's stricken with grief. And I love that scene in the beginning whenever she posthumously sends him the puppy and he reads the letter, and you see so much emotion on his face. To me, that is the best performance I've ever seen from Keanu Reeves as far as an acting performance. And of course, he's driving his car into town one day, and these Russian gangsters see him. Alfie Allen is the leader of them. He's the mafia boss's son, and he wants his car. Of course, it's not for sale. And that night, they beat up John Wick. They shoot his dog, or his dad says, "You stole his car, killed his effing dog." I just love that character. He's great. But from that point on, it's like a Western. It's a revenge tale. John Wick avenging, the memory of his wife that was tied up into this dog, and him going after these guys. And like I've always said, Westerns to me are the best tales because they're the simplest to tell. And this is definitely Western at its core. I do like it because of that whole deal with his wife. This movie has just this emotional core running through the middle of it, and you totally sympathize with John Wick. The other day when I watched it, I hadn't seen it in years, and that scene where he breaks down, I actually kind of broke down with it there. I just totally bought into that scene. But of course, the reason to watch and love this movie is the action. There is so much, man. Where there are those guys come in, and they attack him there at his house. He kills them all off. He calls up the cleaner, which David Patrick Kelly, of course, from the Warriors and from Commando, he was Sully. Sully, remember when I told you I'd kill you last? Yeah, Matrix, you did. I lied. I love seeing David Patrick Kelly in this role. As small as it was, it's kind of this creepy guy bringing his guys in to clean up John Wick's mess. Equilibrium may be the martial arts gun movie, but to me, John Wick kind of just took that and ran with it. You got the scene where he goes downtown and he goes up to that club and he's shooting after Alfie Allen. And I love that scene. You've got Kevin Nash as the doorman playing a Russian. And Kevin Nash being in this movie, I'm surprised he didn't tear his quad acting in this movie. Hey, how about you take the night off? I'll take the night off, Mr. Vick. Really like that, even though it was just a small cameo. Man, there's so much good stuff going on in there, and the music that's going on behind it. I'm not the biggest Marilyn Manson fan, But I thought his song really fit this movie to a T. But I love that scene, man, where they're there dancing in that hall and he comes in and takes them all out. Of course, Wick takes a pretty hellacious fall there. And of course, he does his business there at the Continental Hotel and he runs into Mrs. Perkins. And whoever that actress is, I really like her. She's in Orville with Seth MacFarlane. That's a really cool sci fi show if you're into that. But I like how she ends up breaking the rules and getting banned and then getting killed. The Russian mob boss, his name is Vigo in the movie. Man, I really like that character when he's singing that song about the boogeyman, Baba Yaga coming from the swamp to take you. I really like that and how they play up the mythology of the character, how John Wick was the boogeyman. I just love how the character of John Wick has this reputation. They take that car to the chop shop that John Leguizamo's character owns, and he wants nothing to do with it. And then I really like when the dad calls him up and asks what happens, and he's like, "Oh, I see." It was John Wick. Just the reputation that that character has, without even really knowing the character that well yet in that first movie. But I love this movie from the first time I saw it, about a year after it came out. And a funny little story. I saw it in probably 2015. In 2016, I got a dog, which was actually a half beagle, oddly enough, and I named it Daisy. And it must have just been this total subliminal thing because me and my wife watched it not too long after we got that dog. And of course, there's that scene where he reads the name off the dog tag, and she looks at me, and I'm like, dude, I had no idea. It's funny how things from movies stick with you. John Wick is probably the best action movie to come out of the 2000s, this new millennium period. I just absolutely love this movie. And you get on IMDb, and as far as the John Wick movies go, I think it's a dead last at like a 7.4, along with like Parabellum Part 3. And I'm just, man, are we watching the same movie? Because this to me isn't overlong like the sequels. This is like a quick hour and 41 minutes. You're in and out just like that. And I feel like people are underestimating this movie compared to the rest of them. And yeah, I probably do need to see the rest of them again. But man, this movie's so good. Like I said, 10 out of 10 would bang as far as this movie goes. So let me know what you think of this movie down in the comments. Do I hold it in too high of a regard, as far as 2010 movies or 2000 movies, period? Or, am I right? You look at the Extraction movies, with Chris Hemsworth as Tyler Rake, and they're basically John Wick tactical, all the things that this movie has inspired, in cinema. And I think it's well deserving of that 10 out of 10. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think down below. And coming up next, I got another really good action movie, really underrated from the 2000s. I'm going to do Four Brothers, so be looking for that here in the next few days. Mark Wahlberg and Outcast and all those guys. Really appreciate that movie. If you like what you see, be sure to like and subscribe. And as always, guys, I'm Andrew, and I'll see you down the line.